See this here. There we go. Awesome. Got it up and going. Fix My Swing is powered by Coach Now. Very excited that they have partnered with us to help you play better golf. And this gentleman here, his name is Jeremy Gates. Jeremy, my friend, thanks so much for sending in your swing. Excited that you want to do it. And he writes, really appreciate this, guys. I'm originally from a small town outside of Jackson, Michigan. Lots of good golf around here. Hockey was my #1 sport growing up. Played NCAA college hockey and golf, and played professional hockey in the minors for 4 years. And currently he's a hockey coach in the minors. So awesome athlete, professional athlete. Let's see here. He says, really enjoy what you fellas have started up, and I am thankful for taking a look at my swing. I miss is mostly left or a block fade. I play a draw. I've had an issue with mental side of chipping. If you're looking for ideas for future golf chats, I like that. Very cool. Thanks so much, Jeremy, for sending it in. All right, let's get rolling here. It is 9:29, isn't it? We're about halfway through. Who wants to take the wheel this evening? I'll go ahead.
You go ahead, Mike. Start out.
I'll go ahead and start. I've been taking a look here. Jeremy, first thing that I was looking at here is your grip, my friend. And if we zoom in here, what I see is with the right hand, left hand looks pretty good, but the right hand looks like your thumb is a little bit too much on top of the grip, and we want it a little bit farther to the left of your grip over here more, okay? And I want to see a little bit more of this knuckle sticking out right here. It looks like the club's a little bit too much up in your fingers right there. Or excuse me, too much up in your palm because of that. So when it's up in your palm, what we're going to see here in a minute is that you like to hold the club face open, which kind of stands to reason with what's going on, what you're talking about. So we need to start releasing that golf club a little bit more here, and get that club in your fingers of your right hand more, and get the right thumb more to the left on your grip, and kind of give yourself a little bit of a trigger finger here. There, we'll show you that here when we're done, I think. All right, next up, the other thing that I was looking at is ball position. And the ball position looks like it's pretty far back in your stance for the club that you're hitting. And that also stands to reason because you're trying to do everything you can to keep that golf club face from trying to turn over, because your problem is a hook. Unfortunately, this makes it worse. So what we need to do is move the ball position a little bit farther forward up here, at least by your ear, your left ear, and perhaps a little bit farther forward depending upon which club you got. Definitely driver should be right there off your shoulder socket, okay? So let's go through your swing here. We're going to put some lines up like we always do. This is kind of fun. Like this, and let's put one around your head, my friend. Any sign of Jeremy yet, Brent?
No, I haven't seen any comments yet, so
no comments?
Mustn't be signed in yet.
Okay. So, really good turn, huh, guys? How good is that? Stays inside the barrel there. The head is pretty good from this position. And then we're going to see the head move forward a little bit, right? Out of the circle. So everything kind of moves forward. So the hips and the head move forward. And what we want to see is just the hips move forward at this point. And then he's got to back up. See how his head kind of stood up a little bit, and then he kind of backs up out of it, and then trying to hang on to it right there. So I think a lot of this is going to be fixed with ball position. If we can get that ball position a little bit farther forward, And then, of course, with your grip as well. The grip doesn't look too bad in the left hand, but the right, definitely too much up in your palm, and then you kind of fall backward and hang on to it. Now, he also sent us a view from what driver. You guys want to look at that too? Any comments about face on?
Yes. A couple good things on this one, though. You got a lot of good extension there. He's got some good rotation. His upper body rotates pretty good from this particular angle. As for ball position, yeah, definitely a little bit more forwards, maybe just a little bit forwards to center. I like to keep it in one place for a lot of players. He looks pretty athletic. Obviously, he's a hockey player, so I'm sure his eye-hand coordination is quite good. And once we keep that ball position in one particular spot, I think it'll be a lot easier for him to find low point as well. Versus moving it around back and forth, up and down, which is what we used to teach, or I used to teach a long, long time ago, but I don't any longer.
Yeah, it's tough when you can't get the left shoulder there behind that green line behind the ball. It's difficult to hit it straight, right? So you're gonna have to be doing some stuff. What else you think, Brent?
There's obviously power. He's very, very strong guy, which I'm guessing he's from that hockey, not without having an ice hockey background. But certainly getting that top half a little more behind the ball, which will help with the pressure shift and get that weight moving back. But that ball, changing that ball forward a bit, will certainly help that. But I just wouldn't mind seeing you a little bit softer with that left arm. There's a bit of tilt in those shoulders, and it seems to be hanging on very tight there. So maybe a little bit softer with those arms might help a bit more freedom of movement through the swing. But there's a heap of good things there power wise.
No, it's awesome, isn't it? What do you think, Frank?
I agree with everything you guys say. I have really nothing to add to that.
Okay. Let's switch things over and look at from down the line. He did send us a picture of a video of him hitting a wood. So first off, from here, let's put up a plane line up through his elbow. Now, this isn't exactly on line, but we're going to give it a rip here. Give it a shot. Right? So, Jay, you brought up a point we were talking about. What do you think here at the top of the backswing?
Top of the backswing? I'm trying to look and zoom in here because it's small on my end, but yeah, I think that okay, there we go. Yeah, thanks, bud. Yeah, I like the left knee sort of kicking in, going a little bit forwards. Right leg's a little bit straight, a lot straight. And I think he gets a lot straighter as he transitions down too. When we looked at this quickly, with both legs being really, really straight, he's a little bit on his toes. I would be working pretty hard with him on pressure shift and groundwork in the beginning here to try and get his footwork a little bit. Yeah. So he's got a lot of speed, he's got a lot of power, but functional range of motion, you can see he's using a lot of hands and arms there to compensate because he's up on his toes. So there's where all his power comes from. He's trying to just muscle it out there with upper body.
Yeah, you're right. But also, you look at what we talked about last week, to where that shaft is way over there, and you can see the ball immediately takes off to the left. And he's just trying to hang on to it, right? So the pull hook is the bad thing, and you can see, a lot of early extension, right, Frank?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That was the thing I was going to say is you can definitely see there's, especially at impact there, he's lost his angle. He's pretty tall. Definitely early extension.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then next frame, right, Brent? Here it goes. Next frame. There it goes. See the ball's right there.
Yeah.
Take it off. And it's shut. So,
is that upper body move? Does that come from ice hockey, you guys? Without having an ice hockey background?
I think it's just instinctive for a lot of guys that just want to try and hit it with upper body a lot. Yeah, he probably has if he's I don't know what position he played, but if he played out and he shoots right, then yeah, his upper body would tend to dominate more. But a lot of guys, 95% of guys try and muscle it, and I really just think from his very poor footwork, getting up on his toes. That's why he early extends. He's trying to get up on his toes. His verticals are just he's just using them too much, and I don't know if he can rotate or not. Obviously, he's not screened or given us any injury list. Obviously, if you're playing hockey, you probably have injuries. I can certainly attest to that. But so compensations are being made maybe from other things, but generally just a lot of guys try and muscle it out there. And they can do that for 10 to 12 holes, and then they suck coming in because their upper body's just dead tired, fatigued, and they start hitting it left, right, left, right, left, right most of the time, and have lots of high numbers.
Jason, what kind of drills would you have this player use
for footwork?
Yes.
I mean, I do step drills. Explain concepts of where the pressure needs to shift to. So I like it to go as linear as possible, or as straight down the line as possible, and then exit left to the heel. Because I think there's way more stability in the heel. I mean, we see he's athletic. He's not falling over, but there's not a lot of people that can stay out on their toes and then get back to their heels and balance and not fall over with all of the forces and speed going to the left in this particular case. So he's an athlete. But a lot of people who fall over on their toes fall over sideways to the right. I call it sideways because forwards is where the ball is going.
Yeah.
So they don't have balance. So a lot of balance drills. I do some screens for balance beforehand to see what their balance is like with eyes open, eyes closed. Right foot, left foot, and I tend to watch and see which side of their foot they favor balance to when doing those screens. So do they tend to lean more to the inside and fall one direction, or do they lean to the outside of their foot and fall one direction? Sometimes I have them take their shoe off and see what their flexion is like in their foot, if they have flat feet or they have, high arches, because sometimes they might not actually be able to get to their heel. So there's a lot of things that go on for testing before I can say, hey, I want you to drive towards your left heel, right, or lead heel. So I make sure that they can actually physically do all those things beforehand, before we tackle pressure shift. And obviously we would work on some knee movement as well and check his hips to see if he can open those. Those kinds of things.
That's really okay. I think our listening audience or the people that are watching this right now really can pick up a lot of great information from the things that you're talking about there. And I think they probably wonder too, what are we seeing and how do we help the player? What do we give a player? Once we see that maybe there's some imbalances or there's something going on with their bodies and the way they move. I think what you just brought out has to be very, 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 very good for the people that are listening and watching this broadcast today. Really good stuff.
I think it gets overlooked. Thanks, Rick. I mean, I think it gets overlooked, the footwork, a lot. Toby McFarland just commented on Facebook that, Bubba feet, he's got Bubba feet. And there's a few people that have the athleticism to do that. If we looked at Lexi Thompson, she gets out on her toes. Would I change that if I was her coach? No, absolutely not. She's a pretty good ball striker and she bombs it. So, if it became an issue where she could find the map, then okay, maybe that's, we look at that as an issue and you need to get that under control. So those are some of the factors, obviously, that go into making any changes that we're going to look at in relation to footwork. And is it a teaching preference that I prefer to see it go towards the lead heel? Maybe. I just think, I just know over the course of the last 25, 26 years, I've seen people have really good balance and a lot more success driving towards the lead heel than hanging out on their toes and hoping, that they're a really good athlete. So their stability and balance improves. And if you can control your stability and balance, your ball striking is definitely going to improve.
Yeah, there's no doubt that I see club paths go with where the weight is going, right?
Exactly.
And
so
wherever the club's going,
a
so
lot.
yeah, you know, Jeremy, when you get too much this way with your weight, and that club gets over and on top, and then you couple that with a head moving forward, right? You got no chance, and you look at yourself and you're like this out in front of it and just trying to hold on. I know I'm backwards, but this way, trying to hold on because that club is just coming down and slamming down and swinging way left, and the face is going to shut, and you give it the chicken to try and hold the face open. And I think Jay's right on the money. You start from the ground up and you start moving sideways more instead of towards the toes. Try to get more linear. You know, Toby, same thing with Bubba. Bubba's great at it, but he moves sideways, and he can work the ball. And, you know, he can do it. He's done it all his life. So
and he's not the straightest driver in the world either.
Yeah, he curves the ball more than any other player on the tour. And so, you know, that being said, when we want to fix this for you, we need to get that golf club more underneath that green line. That way we can start to fix the club face and stuff. So, you know, maybe some stuff like Jay was saying, a lot of indoor work this winter while we're inside here, trying to get your weight to be more in the center, stepping on some pillows, maybe a frisbee, things like that to try and keep you more in balance, because it's tough to balance yourself on a frisbee, or you can get a pillow or something like that, something that you can stand on, some Tuppermade or Rubbermaid or whatever you want to call it. Just working on that and doing that a few times a day, and you're going to see a big difference when you get outside playing golf. But that's awesome. Thanks so much for sending in your swing, Jeremy, down in Jackson. Very, very cool stuff.